What's up, everybody? Garrett back here, and we have a really cool episode this morning. This is going to be something different. This has to do with physical media. It has to do with the DVD format. It kind of trails into the Blu-ray format, but we're going to talk about a company which I guess, in my opinion, almost seems like a precursor to a lot of this boutique labels that we're getting now. Like, yeah, we had our Anchor Bays and stuff like that, but this label kind of came out of nowhere, especially for horror fans, I feel like back in the day. And it felt so underground, like you were kind of like a black market of physical media. And we're going to talk about Code Red. Now, guys, I have the Dead Pit Boys here with me. And the reason I have them here with me because they were in the mix. They actually talked to Bill Olsen before, so they know a lot about the Code Red label and kind of where it started and what it became. And guys, let's kind of bounce this back and forth and let me know, like, when did you first hear about Code Red?
For me, I think it was something online, like a press release or something, and they had announced a handful of initial titles, starting with Don't Go in the Woods Alone, and my big one was The Forest, because that was one that I always loved as a kid, and I couldn't believe that somebody was finally coming out with it on DVD, so it must have been Ain't It Cool News, or one of those DVD sites or something like that. There were press releases that came out, and we probably talked about it on the old Dead Pit radio show. You can look in the archives. I'm sure it's up there.
Because you guys would have been up and running at this point, right?
Yeah. When he started releasing stuff, we were already doing the show. So yeah.
It was a huge deal, don't you think? Like at the time, like you said, when you got all of a sudden titles like Don't Go in the Woods in the Forest announced, like as a horror fan, you're kind of like, what the hell? Are they coming to DVD? Like, what is this label?
I remember watching like Don't Go in the Woods on a VHS tape and just thinking, oh my God, like this is one of the worst movies of all time because like you couldn't see anything. It was like one of those, rental VHS tapes and like it looked awful. And I remember the music being awful and like everything about it I just hated when I watched it when I was a kid. And then, but I was curious because I'd seen it before. I was like, I wonder what, that's like now. Like if I go back and watch it now, because it had been years since I'd seen it before it came out on DVD. And from that point, like they had a ton of releases that I think we must have got. Like, I don't remember if they sent them to us or if we bought them, but like I remember Boarding House, Soul Survivor,
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. I remember having all those at one point in time. And that was like the early days.
Devil Times 5. That was an early
Devil Times 5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember Bill Olsen. We were pretty friendly with him early on, and he would send us like check discs for stuff months and months before it was supposed to come out. Like Schoolgirls in Chains was one that he sent back in the day, and I think we got an early version of their first release, Don't Go in the Woods, as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we were around during the infancy of this company, and to see, if you look at companies like Severin Films and Vinegar Syndrome and Kino and companies like that are doing some really obscure stuff, if you look back at it and you're being honest, Code Red was they were the forefather, I guess, of that sort of thing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they were releasing stuff at that time that I was lost on VHS that I never thought I'd see again. And man, they released so much stuff that I had never even heard of. But all of a sudden now I'm seeing all these obscure horror titles. And same thing like what we do with Vinegar Syndrome. Sometimes we're like, what is this? But you get it because you're kind of like, is this a lost gem that I've just kind of been missing all these years? And sometimes there were, and sometimes it was just hot garbage, right? But I was in that mentality. That's when I really started to be like, I'm going to collect all of these because I was there from day one and they had the little numbers on the spine. So like my uncle and I would order everything. And I was looking through the stuff I have here today, which I'll showcase later, is there's so many that are still sealed because I'm like, I don't think I'd ever watch this, but I wanted to keep all the spine numbers and stuff like that. And I got pretty far and then kind of transferred over to Blu-ray. And then I started selling some stuff off once I got other editions and whatnot. But it was wild. But when it comes to, you guys probably remember this, when it comes to Don't Go in the Woods Alone, wasn't the big marketing thing with this, like, wasn't it like somebody famous's like favorite movie or something? They kept posting that everywhere. Who was that they used to say that about?
Jesus Christ, man.
I know what you're... big thing? Yeah, I vaguely remember that, but I'm not sure who
Wasn't it the CKY guy? Was that who
Was
it
it?
was? No, that
Oh,
was.
was it?
It was,
Dar-
wasn't it? It was
Darren
the
Miller.
CKY.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, because I remember this was getting put over by like I thought at the time like someone that I respected. It was like, oh shit, this is his favorite movie. Like I gotta get this, because I didn't see Don't Go in the Woods until I got this edition. I had seen The Forest, but
I feel bad for you if that's your favorite movie. If that's anybody's favorite movie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's you got to be pretty hardcore for Don't Go in the Woods to be your
Here's-
favorite movie.
I want to say this though about Code Red though. I mean, to be honest, they're kind of a punchline now just because like a lot of stuff that happened. But at that time, around let's say like 2006 to 2009, somewhere around in there, they really were kind of poised to be like another Anchor Bay or Blue Underground or Synapse or something like that. It's just they never really, for one obvious reason, never really like lived up to that hype. But that's what we thought that they were going to be. They were releasing like titles on like continuously,
Almost like
all
a
the time.
criterion for like cult movies or something, I think is what we were thinking then.
And it was wild for if you were in the horror community and when you were getting Code Red, you felt like you knew something other people didn't know. Like,
yeah, it felt very, very underground, like more underground than pretty much any other label, really.
I agree. Even to this day, I still feel like that because it wasn't like you just bought this at the, at first. I mean, I remember having to go on like a weird website and I was afraid to even put my credit card in there to get some of these movies, and they sold out pretty quick. Some of them over time, they started to sell out fast. So you had to kind of be quick to get in there. And then it would kind of like it would either come back in stock someday or you'd never see it again. So,
yeah, I mean, there's still a website around that is like that to this day. It sells Blu-rays and stuff where I'm afraid to put my credit card information into it. But Bill Olsen's was the first where you.
He was trained by Bill Olsen.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy is.
But yeah, Code Red had an amazing start. I'll say that. Like they had an amazing start of titles that, being at the time that we were collectors and that we were like going through, horror films like we were, dreamed of seeing some of these movies that nobody had seen in years and years and years. And they were one of the few labels that were putting that kind of stuff out. And then it kind of became every label was putting that kind of stuff out. But
I think whenever like initially Media Blasters was distributing their stuff, and whenever that stopped, I mean, essentially Media Blasters was getting all their stuff out to Best Buy, Amazon, all these sites and everything where people still order from today even. But when that stopped, I think that hurt that company a lot. I mean, they continued still to release stuff, but now it wasn't as readily available. It was more or less limited numbers. Hey, we're putting up 200 copies of Savage Streets, on August the 10th. Be ready at bigcartelbulls.com.
You're right. That's exactly how they used to do it. He would post or whatever and say, it's going live at this time, be ready. And you had to be there or you would miss it. And it could be, long gone and you'll never get your hands on it again. And, I know you guys had interviewed Bill Olsen early on and whatnot. So like, do you have any good stories with him? What's your experience with him? Because you knew him, pretty well. I have some stories just because my uncle was so obsessed with this line because these are all the movies that he always told me about. I never was able to see him because you just couldn't get your hands on them. Like these are movies he saw as a kid at the drive-in or, on VHS. So he was stoked with this line. So as soon as he saw these were coming out, he was always emailing Bill Olsen to be like, yo, you should try to find this. And every response he got was always like the most dickhead response ever. That my uncle was kind of like, what the fuck's this guy's problem? Right? Like he'd be like, oh, you ever try to get Hunter's Blood? And the guy's like, what's his name owns it? Go talk to him and bother him about it. Like,
that's exactly how he was. Yeah.
There was something in particular that we talked to him about, and it kind of goes in with the Kathy's Curse light box. They were asking Bill Olsen back in 2007 or whenever this was, 2006 when this is coming out. They wanted like a replica light box, much like the Dead Pit VHS, and he absolutely went off on them on our show. I remember this, It's like, do they realize how much it fucking costs to do a light box? A fucking light box. And this dude he was unhinged for real. This was no, people think this is a gimmick or whatever. He wore the Banana Man outfit later on in his career. No, this guy, he was legit. He was,
well, rest in peace, by the way. You know,
he was
Yeah.
a little out there. Oh yeah, for sure.
He was a character for sure. I mean, he was an important part of the physical media world, you know, in the horror community for sure. But yeah, like you said, there's so many stories out there, and those are the only ones that I had. Was I guess he was just, you know, my uncle would give him all these ideas, and he was very like whatever about it. He's, you know, he would give the guy's name. Hey, this guy owns it. Go bother him about it or something. Tell him to sell it to me, or whatever, you know.
Every story that I've ever heard about anybody having contact with Bill Olsen always like ended with like, and then like he cursed me out. We never talked again. Like, no joke. Michael Felster, who never talks bad about anybody, like we've talked to him about Bill Olsen, and he was basically just like, you couldn't get along with the guy. Like it was an impossibility to be able to do it. And the one thing I remember more than anything about that interview, I mean, I remember him being like crazy and animated and just like going off and having that New York kind of like sensibility about him. But the other thing I remember is he may be the only guest that I ever know of that like after the interview was over with called us back and wanted us to like, did he wanted us to not put it up or
he wanted us to
like
cut some things out of it or something like that. And we used a Skype line where you can leave voicemails and everything. And I would check it the next day. He would have 4 or 5 different voicemails left on that Skype line about the interview. And the funny thing is I think a week or two before we did the interview with Bill Olsen, there was a PR guy from Code Red or Shriek Show or something like this. Do you remember this, Uncle Bill? Where we had him on first, and Bill Olsen did not like the interview with him at all.
That's right.
Yeah, he was like, I want to come on now in a couple of weeks or whatever, you know, he talked.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And I want to set the record straight about these titles, you know.
How was he getting a hold of these titles? Like he was like, I mean, this was before, like we said, any of these big companies. He was kind of like a one-man show over there, right?
From what I think, I remember people saying those. He was heavily into cult films for years and years and years and years. Him and his brother, Walt, who did Scorpion release, and they both passed away last year.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he lived out there in California, that over the years of him being just a super fan, he probably made connections and everything. I know that there were still a lot of people that lived out in that area that were involved in movies back in the day. Don Jones, I know, was from The Forest, and Gary Kemp, both of those guys still lived out there. And James Bryan, who we talked to on the show too, the director of Don't Go in the Woods Alone, he still lived out there. So I'm guessing he just got these connections from people over the years of being, you know, just a hardcore fan of these movies, possibly.
But some of the stuff he was getting was like mind blowing. Like Savage Streets at the time was very hard to come by for a long time in the DVD days. It was like one of those titles that like I had an old kind of crappy version, but like it was very sought after. And all of a sudden he's announcing it, and then it's got a Blu-ray and all this stuff. And you're like, wow, this is a pretty big deal for him to be getting this, because I'm sure at that time any label probably wanted to get their hands on a movie like Savage Streets. So it was always interesting to see like some of the things he could kind of pull out that you would just like, wow, I can't believe that, you know, this is who was able to attain this movie, because it seems like no one's ever been able to find it. So it was pretty impressive, some of the library that he did bring out. And there's still stuff in my collection here that hasn't gotten brought out on Blu-ray yet, that was out on DVD from Code Red. And obviously there's been cult hits that he put out for the first time, like Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. That was the first time I'd ever seen that movie, was through him. And now all of a sudden it's like Severin's putting it out on 4K. I mean, so there's a lot of titles that he was doing back then before I think anybody else was giving him a shot.
Oddly enough, I guess that's kind of what happens. He was a pioneer, but like he was also kind of, I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but he was out there, man. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but I think that's you kind of partly have to be out there in a way to do something like that nobody else has ever really done, or like, you know, to go out there and try to do something like he did independently, completely on your own, and actually succeeded at it, you kind of got to be like a little bit, you know, just left to center. Really, he
What's funny
was.
about some of the early releases, and this is so great. This is how hands-on Bill Olsen was. Now, technically, he may not have known how to do some of this stuff, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't going to try.
Yeah.
So I think all of the special features on the initial Code Red releases, like video interviews and stuff like that, were recorded by him with a camcorder.
Yep, they were.
You can go back and look. Quality's not the best. You can tell it's on, like, who knows how old of a camcorder he was using back when he was shooting this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty hands-on, and I actually kind of appreciate that. It gives it a small, almost like a mom and pop video store was back in the day, like a little bit more hands-on than some of these big studios at the time. And I kind of appreciated that. Now, some of the extra features over the years, which we may get into that a little bit later, are pretty hilarious that they came out. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into that here in a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely for a while. I think for at least a couple of years, DIY kind of stuff. Like he did all the interviews, he filmed them really, really low budget, but still he had to like find these people.
Mhm.
They had to come in for an interview. Like all this had to be set up, and like who in the hell else is going to care about interviews with people like from boarding house, or you know what I mean? Like you had to be a completely unique person to seek out these movies and care enough to get those interviews yourself. Like
100%. And like I said, it had its own little website that felt very sketchy, felt like a really underground, like
yep.
nobody knows about this stuff, and afraid to even get your credit card information in there. But it's like you knew I'm gonna take a chance because I want this movie so much. Like I always think about it as almost like the ECW of horror DVD collecting back in the day. It was like if you knew about it, it was so badass, but it felt so underground and not like the norm. Like it almost kind of felt in some way you were, like we said before, it was almost like you were doing something wrong, or you were kind of like dealing. It was almost like tape trading almost. Like that's the feeling that I always got with this stuff. But I have a bunch of stuff here that I want to showcase, and then as we kind of do this, we can kind of brief about some of these titles because I have a lot here, so I might as well just throw them up and whatever we remember about these. Some of these, like I said, I've never seen. Some I've only seen once, and maybe you guys have like different, memories of this stuff. And if we pull anything up that you have a good story with, we can touch upon it. But we talked about before, Don't Go in the Woods Alone was the first one. These two I remember coming out together. Like I think this was the press sheet that everybody saw was these two, and I think that's really what got the ball rolling for that company was those two releases. Like I said, I've got just a bunch here. Nothing's in order at this point, but like I said, we did get the Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker as well. So great movie. I just watched the 4K the other night. It looks fantastic. I don't know if you guys ended up getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it again recently too.
Yeah, I watched it. I think it was a couple of days ago, and it looks great.
Don't you feel like a movie like that just feels like one of the best like unknown movies out there? Like it really, everything about it, I was like, everything works. Like this is a great story. It looks great. I mean, it had to have been what year? It feels 70s, but 82.
It was 80,
but I mean,
80 yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like there's something about that movie where it has its own like complete own vibe or something. And really there's no other movie like that movie. I don't know what it is exactly. It is technically like a slasher film, but it's more of a film about that mother that just won't let go of that son, and just like her performance and the way that she is throughout that movie really is what makes that movie so unique.
Susan Terrell, yeah, she kind of is the glue that holds that whole movie together, makes it work. And it's interesting because I don't even know if wasn't it called Night Warning or something like that?
Night Warning,
was the VHS release. I think that may have been the very first time that it was released with its original name, Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, which is a killer name. If I saw that video back in the day,
definitely unique.
I totally would have rented that. It's a lot better than Night Warning.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool about it too is not only the mother, I mean, she steals the show. I mean, it's incredible when she cuts her hair and stuff and kind of goes a little bit more psychotic. And is the cop was, like the main detective guy that's really trying to put it on the kid. And, the context of the reasoning that he thinks the kid did it was just crazy. It was just such a weird storyline, but I love it. So I'm so happy I ended up grabbing the 4K because, like he said, it does look great. Now I'm looking at one right now that I want to show it. I've never opened this, but again, I was really trying to complete this line because it was kind of easy to keep up with it because he'd release like a batch of movies every couple months or something, so it was kind of easy to keep up with it. Never opened this, and I'm willing to sell this or trade this if anybody's a fan of this movie, but it's Gosh, It's Me, Alice Goodbody.
What the hell is that, Garrett?
I have no idea.
Well, Alice Goodbody.
That's got to be worth something because I've never heard of that in my life.
I've never heard of that one either.
It's number 33. It's still sealed. There we go.
Wow. Well, that's probably one that doesn't have a barcode on it, or
somebody will buy that. So
it does have a barcode. She's got a good body. Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay, so BCI released his stuff for a while. I don't remember what time period that was, but that was back when you could get that stuff in like Best Buy and the bigger stores. And then Media Blast. I don't know if Media Blasters.
I think Media Blasters was first, and then I think for a hiccup they were with BCI. I think.
Okay. So there was a time period, a very short time period, maybe like a couple of years, where all that stuff was in Best Buy and all that stuff was in like probably Target and places like that, or wherever else you could go. And those were mainstream to the point where anybody could buy them releases. And I struggle to think that, what was the name of that movie?
Alice Goodbody.
Alice Goodbody was in like Best Buy, and somebody.
I think they were a little bit. I don't know. I feel like Best Buy maybe had like specific ones because I actually have 2 Best Buy exclusives in here from what they did, which was like you could only get this at Best Buy. So the number on it was like, number 4-2 because like it had like a special Best Buy exclusive one, which is pretty cool. Here's another one really quick. Uncut for the first time, Horror High. So we already know this got an upgrade from Vinegar Syndrome. So that's another one of the movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of Vinegar Syndrome upgrades.
Oh, 100%. Them and Severin dove into this library. Primal Rage. Someone had just put this out too, like recently, right?
That was Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, I just got that. Actually.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yep. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like I mean, these titles, like, I don't know, nobody else would put these titles out at that time.
Well, you got to look at the time frame too. Like there was nobody else releasing this sort of stuff.
No, mid 2000s. No,
Anchor Bay would go pretty hardcore with the European stuff or whatever, but when it came to some of the lower budget cult B movies here in the United States, they didn't really touch that at all. So
here's a funny side note, and I don't know if you remember this or not, either one of y'all. So it would have been after we did the interview with him and everything. So I'm saying probably 2008 or 2009 or something like that. Bill Olsen, who, like we said, was kind of out there, he started going on message boards. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but he would talk the god awfulest shit about people not buying enough of certain titles that he released, man. And that was kind of his gimmick there for a while. And I remember that during the Dead Pit era. I remember like hearing that because like it was like so crazy because people would be like, dude, he's on like whatever Blu-ray.com for it. And he's like just, all caps yelled at me with like really bad spelling and stuff about not buying the whatever, like, name any title from that time period that I'm sure was crazy. But
why does nobody like Alice Goodbody? There's still 50 left there.
He would get on there and get into arguments with like fans and stuff, and like
he was wild.
The
thing was, he kind of had everybody by the balls because it was like he was the only person putting this stuff out. So it's like you either want it or you don't. Like it's either you gotta get it on physical media on a DVD format on a disc, or you're gonna try to find that VHS tape somewhere.
And what's funniest to me about that though is I was just thinking about this. I just connected this. TerraVision basically did the same thing
They did.
recently where they were like, listen, y'all got to buy more of this stuff or we're not going to be able to do anything else. Bill Olsen was the godfather of that method of whatever that is.
100%.
Promotion.
Aggressive behavior.
Aggressive promotion, we'll call it. Ruthless aggression. Ruthless aggression.
Ruthless and toothless aggression.
I'm telling you though, man, like that guy did not care. I don't know if you remember a lot of the stuff he put on those message boards, but like there's probably a way to find that stuff now and just go back and look at it. But some of the stuff he was saying, whoo.
Didn't he, like, I can never remember this guy's name, but he was like a African dictator or something like that. And he said that he called, is it Idi Amin or something like that?
Idi Amin, yeah.
That Michael Felcher was like the lookalike for, and I'm like.
That doesn't even make any sense either, by the way.
But man, that's, it's some African dictator, Idi Amin or something.
That's what Michael Felcher looked like.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else that he did too, man. That was kind of, and I know we'll get to the titles, but I'm starting to.
No, any message you guys can pull up. Let's talk about it.
I don't remember if he did this on that interview that we did. I want to think that he may have, and that might have been part of the reason why, like, he didn't want us to air parts of it. But another thing he was notorious for was talking shit about other labels.
Oh yeah,
and
I 100% remember all that.
I can't remember if he mentioned. I can't remember who he mentioned in that now, but I'm fairly certain that he talked shit about somebody. But it's like he couldn't help himself though, or something. It might have been Synapse. I don't know.
Synapse.
Yeah,
wasn't there a point in time where him and his brother fighting at one point?
Yeah,
I'm sure he fought with everybody.
I remember that they were battling back and forth. I don't know if it was about titles or what it was, but I can remember them kind of being in a little bit of a beef.
If I remember correctly, though, initially they started Code Red together, and then Walt kind of branched out because, of course, Bill's not easy to deal with. Everybody, you know, from what we've heard and experienced, so he went off on his own and did Scorpion Releasing, which was a pretty good cult genre label as well.
Here's the weird thing. I don't remember ever hearing anything about his brother. I don't remember hearing a bad thing about his brother at all, or hearing any kind of.
He kind of felt to me like he was a little more low key. You know, Scorpion, you kind of knew, but you know, because it was very similar. But I don't remember him. I just always felt like he was kind of more low key. But Scorpion are they like because they both passed? Obviously, the company's completely done. But I feel like I still am buying stuff and seeing Scorpion on the back of some of these things. So
got
I'm like,
all of that.
Now are they just putting out back stock, or are they putting Scorpion labels on some of these re-releases? I don't know.
I don't think there's been any new releases from Code Red or Scorpion, but up until they passed away, they were doing stuff through Kino. Both companies were. So it's Code Red and Scorpion were doing, you know, these handful of titles they'd release a year. Most of them weren't even horror movies. I think there were some action movies in there and, you know, some odd stuff. But that was, I don't think since they've passed away, I'm not sure, but I don't believe that either label has released anything, you know, after they died.
Hell, I just recently. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting because a part of me feels like I remember what he kind of said it was all done, but then I remember like Kino releasing some new stuff, so I just wasn't sure what the time frame was on the real end of that company, because they went for longer than I expected. For sure. But it was just distributed different.
I would imagine, though, like whatever they have left from that catalog, they would just release it under the Kino label. You know, I mean, that's kind of what makes the most sense.
So you're going to say, UB?
Oh, I was just going to say, I just recently found out that Media Blaster still exists.
I didn't know they still existed.
I found they were on Instagram, and I was like, that still is a thing? And yeah, they're still doing movies.
They're still killing it.
I think they do a lot of that. What do they call it? Mango or
mango, baby, with Peppy.
Mango
anime and stuff like that. They do a lot of that. I think.
Well, this next one is a title that Vinegar Syndrome put out. Joe Spinell is The Undertaker.
Oh, my Undertaker. Oh, yeah.
It's almost like they put the Undertaker logo like on the bottom.
They kind of did, yeah.
Well, that was the very first time that had been released at all, I think. Oh, finally on DVD, my Undertaker. There he is. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if the VHS says this, but it says like on the top, it says the maniac who terrorized New York City is back. This time he's a mortician who needs to beef up business in a small Jersey town. It's like they're still using that character as to sell the product. So is this technically part 2 of Maniac?
It's either part 2 or 3, depending on like how you want it. It's like a trilogy at this point.
Yeah.
But that was like a incomplete movie for years and years and years, and I guess they just edited it together or something, right? I think that was the story.
Yeah, it says right on here in big letters, first time on home video. So it's pretty big.
It's another one that Vinegar Syndrome picked up afterwards too.
Someone just put this out because I got it on 4K or Blu-ray. Messiah Evil. It's actually a pretty cool movie. Have you guys seen this one?
I think we have.
I think we may have reviewed that back in the day, but I don't really remember it. I did buy the Blu-ray.
Radiance put it out.
Yeah, and I will check it out because I have heard good things about it.
It is cool. Yeah, it's funny because it's a weird story, but my brother was dating this girl, and her brother actually was my age. He went to school with me, but we weren't really friends. He kind of kept to himself and stuff. And you know, I loved horror movies. So my brother would go over there, and he's like, "Did you know Dan likes horror movies?" I was like, "I didn't know that." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you ever heard of this movie? It's his favorite one." And he brought a VHS tape out of Messiah of Evil. I'm like, this is his favorite movie. He's like, yeah, he said this is his favorite horror movie. And I remember that was the first time I saw that, was when he recommended it as his like favorite movie. And then when they released this, I was like, that's so funny. I've never even heard of this thing before.
Well, some people's favorite movies are just, I don't even know how they get to that point.
Yeah.
Messiah of Evil favorite.
I would imagine the VHS tape of Messiah of Evil would not be that easy to track down either. Probably
not. Because I mean, he had it because that was the way he was watching it back then. And then this thing came out, and I remember telling my brother to let him know. This is a cool movie too. I think I do. This could have been Severin. I think I did rebuy this. Retribution.
Yeah.
Retribution.
Severin for sure did that one. I remember that was one of the big, like when it came out, it was like crazy overpriced.
That was one of the first overpriced
3-disc, like $55 Blu-ray or something.
Oh, this is Uncle Bill's gonna like this one. What, Retribution?
Yeah.
The Ultimate Nightmare. I think that's what it's called on Severin.
The Ultimate
Nightmare.
It definitely sounds like a wrestler.
Speaking of Severin,
a killer wrestler, actually.
Yeah.
What, the Ultimate Nightmare?
Yeah.
Number 61 in the code red line. Dick Demon.
Dick Demon, baby.
Not of the Demon Bulls.
I had so many fond memories of that and horrible memories of that at the same time because of what happened with Severin. But I've got that somewhere, that exact DVD.
Well, you remember the first time? Funny?
Yeah, no barcode.
The Big Cartel exclusive.
No barcode.
Big Cartel, brother.
That's it. It's got to be. Let me see.
Running Wild.
Oh, yeah, it does.
That was the first time that we had watched that was when they were filming the documentary Into the Pit. It was they wanted our live reaction because we had never seen the movie, and it is a wild one for sure. It's a crazy movie.
I don't recall. I don't remember this. The Witch Hammer. The Witch Maker.
Witch Hammer would be killer.
Witch Hammer would have been a better name.
I don't remember much about this. The Witch Maker. Do you?
No, that would have been a killer female wrestler back in the day, like a female Undertaker.
So many wrestlers.
Witch Hammer.
Or it's the Witch Maker. Oh, yes.
What the hell's that? Like a Iron Paul Bear?
That's Paula Bear.
Paula Bear.
All right, here's another no barcode. The Love Butcher.
Ooh, Love Butcher, baby.
I love the Love Butcher, if you will.
That's another wrestler, too.
That's a crazy ass movie.
Yeah, we had a love relationship with that movie, with the Love Butcher. Like we reviewed that. That was a good time. So a very
Cactus
odd
Jack and the
movie.
Love Butcher.
That's the same guy that did the Forest, same director, and I think some of the same cast is in it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's definitely a website exclusive because there's no barcode. You can't even trade this in or anything like that.
And that's
Stuck
one
with
that
it
they
forever.
later did on Blu-ray. So that is actually out on Blu-ray now as well.
What a world.
Buy Code Red.
Buy Code Red, yeah.
Hey,
Now nobody else has this.
No, that's exclusive to Bill.
That's a Code Red exclusive, yeah.
Somebody, let's see. I bought that recently on Blu-ray from I think it was Hamilton Books, but it was like not even $10 or something. So I don't know. Maybe that got dumped.
It's big on the Kino sells all their stuff now, so you can get that for really, really cheap on Blu-ray.
You remember the little song that went with it?
Love Butcher, love
Butcher. Yeah, there we go.
That's the jam.
Is that a Hell Art exclusive?
That is.
Hell yeah. Here's another no barcode. I don't remember much about this. Devil's Express.
You got to be there. That's a killer cover, though.
It is.
It's what the hell is that thing?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like a giant monster. Or something. It says Warhawk Tanzania stars in it.
Well, that's about killer. Did you ever watch that one?
This one?
Yeah.
I may have, but I don't remember a lot about it. It's open, which means I probably did check it out. But the images in the back are actually pretty cool. There's like a guy with his eyes bugging out. There's the monster. I might actually go back and try to watch this again. This guy looks like he does martial arts.
If you ain't down with Warhawk Tanzania, then you ain't down with the cause.
This one is not opened and it's got no barcode, and that is Top of the Heap.
Ooh, the Top of the Heap.
What in the hell is that? Like, I can't tell if that's like a action film or.
His rage was the illness of the time. Sealed number 97 in the Code Red line.
You must have just been collecting for the spines and shit.
I was. 100%.
This doesn't seem like something that you would like.
I was collecting for the spines back then. This was like mid 2000s. It's number 97. It says in the back, "Violence is American as apple pie."
He did it for the love of the game, y'all.
I was collecting for spines long before anybody was collecting for spines.
Code Red is a company that I don't really go back and search on eBay. I wonder how many of these titles are actually collectors items at this point. Are they?
Well, judging from the fact that I've never even heard of them, I'd say they got to be collectible in some way.
Some are, yeah, because they've never been re-released. Like, I actually have another title, but my uncle has it actually right now. It's a movie called Stunt Rock. I don't know if you remember that one.
Now that one I do remember. Yeah,
I think I may have that somewhere.
Stunt Rock, yeah.
Is it Australian?
I don't remember. I just remember a guy on a motorcycle, like doing like all these daredevil stunts. But the Carrier had a Blu-ray, and I sold it for big money. So I don't remember why it was sold for big money, but I kept the DVD and sold the Blu-ray because there was something going on with it where maybe it was just super limited. But I remember after I bought it, everybody was going nuts for it. So I ended up selling it for, at the time, I think I probably sold it for like $90 or something, but, and kept this thing. So I don't know much. I don't remember much about this though. Do you guys?
No, I've never heard of that before. Like, I think there were a period there, probably 2015, 2016, where we weren't really doing the show. So if it was released around that time period, I don't recall any of these because I wasn't really keeping up with it. But
when did they shut down? Like, when did Bill Olsen
store?
Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
They were going up until he passed away. The company itself was still.
Do you remember there was a time period where he was like screaming at everybody that he was going to shut it down and everything, and then he'd have to mortgage his house or something like that to keep it going? There's a whole big thing about that. But
I do remember that.
I guess he kept going.
Yeah, he was what you call blowhard, boys. I think he was making a lot more money.
I was going to say he had to have been making. I don't know how much it costs to put into this stuff, but half of this shit doesn't have barcodes. He was just getting this shit out. Like, this one right here, I don't think that has another release. Curse of the Blue Lights. This was another barcode.
That's another one that
Vinegar Syndrome just recently. That's on Blu-ray now, I think.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
I always remember. Now, I do
Look at that
recall
guy.
that VHS back in the day because that cover's so wild.
That's
It's
some of
not
the
a
I don't
bad
90s.
feel
movie,
like I don't feel like Bill Olsen was making the kind of money he thought he should have been making though. For some reason, he bitched more
Probably
than anybody
not.
about it.
No, probably
Now, were these a
not.
little pricey? I don't remember, like for DVDs at the time.
I don't
I
think
thought-
so.
I think the side exclusive ones, the big cartel ones, were kind of higher.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if I ever bought anything from his site. Now that I think about it, I think the only
Right.
stuff that was like either Best Buy or through like him sending.
I bought stuff to resell back when it first started because it was limited. You know, he would say, "Hey, there's going to be 300 copies at 12:01 a.m." And I remember making pretty good money on some of them. I think Trick or
Code
Treats
Red Middleman.
was one of those. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that's a great movie. Slithus.
Slithus. I remember that one too.
It's a
But
cool
I don't-
movie, actually. This is a cool one.
Hell hath no fury, baby, like Slithus. Tom Matthews could be in the remake.
Oh
What would he
God!
say?
Hell has no fury like the Slithus.
Well, yeah, Uncle Bill's gonna like this one. This is
Oh no!
one from Maria Kanellis. It's called Haunted. So this is part of Maria's B movie mayhem. This is one of her favorites. Did you know that? This is one of Maria Kanellis.
That's what I'm
favorite
sure.
movies. Like,
I'm sure she loves that movie.
she loves Haunted, dude. Loves.
Did you
Haunted.
ever watch that? Like the ones that she hosted like that?
Oh
Like,
yeah, she was a big fan of Haunted.
dude, those were so awful. Like her
She watched that growing up a lot.
she makes Darcy the Mail Girl look like fucking Meryl Streep.
So here's what's weird: was she out of WWE at this point? Did she leave and then started working for Code Red?
I think so, yeah. I really
Phil
do
Olsen
think she
gets a hold of her
was.
like, "Here you go, we're gonna have you host this."
We're
thing."
gonna get Maria Kanellis.
And then his brother's
He
like, "Oh yeah,
probably-
I'm gonna get Winter."
He probably thought that was like the biggest thing ever too. God, well, we got Maria on here. She's
We got the
coming
girl
along.
who dated CM Punk. She's coming to Code Red. But yeah,
Well,
Maria
they did
Kanellis
make a
had
big
line
announcement
devoted.
about that whenever that
Yeah, that was supposed to be a big
it
deal.
was like a big deal, yeah.
Well, that's because Scorpion. I don't know who had her first, but who did Scorpion had Winter? What was her name? Burchill.
Katie Lee.
Katie Lee Burchill. Yeah.
Was that was that Pirate Paul Burchill's woman?
Sister.
Or what?
Yeah.
Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sister.
sister slash woman.
Oh yeah,
Doing that.
you got Maria. I got Katie Lee Burchill.
Yeah, they're from Eastern Kentucky. There's something going on there.
I thought
brother and
that gimmick
sister
had
relationship.
potential. To be honest with you, I thought she was always really attractive. Was Burchill?
Oh yeah, no
Yeah, she was
doubt.
great. at that
She
time.
still is. Have you seen her? She still is, and she's she's probably in her 50s now.
I like the vampire girl they had around this time too. What was her name?
Ariel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelly Martinez. Yeah, she was gorgeous.
But it ain't
But,
nobody.
they
Ain't nobody gonna beat Daphne though. Now come on, you give Daphne her due.
You like the Daphne? Who Shelly Martinez? There was some big incident with Batista. That's why she was let go. There was some kind of thing that happened with them too. The Night Child.
Nope.
I kind of remember this, but I don't know if this has another release by anybody. But I kind of remember this being okay. But
There ain't no way Vinegar Syndrome is not releasing that here in the next couple of weeks.
Night Child.
Next time we do the thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of great flicks, is I like this one. When this came out, this was a big deal. Nightmare Uncut.
So that's the one.
Best
But
Buy?
There's a story behind that. Yes, that was at Best Buy because I
You're like
bought
2
this
discs.
damn thing. Yeah.
What is this?
Look at that second disc. It's a look at it.
Nightmare Disc 2.
It's a DVD art,
Oh my
and I'm
God.
pretty sure he just took either a Sharpie or he had it like he put this.
Digitally put on there.
You get the
Here's the
DVD art
thing.
staples.
Here's the thing about that too, man. You can look on the back of it, and there is an interview with somebody on there that was like part of it that's Italian with no subtitles. Unless you speak Italian, you are never.
You just sit there like this, dude. This is so sick. I'm so glad he got this.
And I remember when that came out, and we found that out. We'd made the god awfulest fun of him for that because, like, how you going to put it
right here. Uncensored 95-minute interview with Romano Scarabidoni.
95 minutes.
95. There's no
It
subtitles.
says in Italian. It says in Italian.
You just have to know Italian, I guess. Like,
we couldn't hire somebody to translate.
But this was a big release when this came out. This was a hot one.
I've got
This was a cool movie,
somewhere.
and somebody just released this again, though, right? Was it Severin? Maybe
Severin. Yeah. Hopefully, they put subtitles on the interview.
But they don't have that special DVR disc, do they? Look at that thing.
Man, I saw that and I marked out laughing because like that's the cheapest looking thing.
They do. Severin does have the open matte cut of the peep show scene, and that's all I can say on your channel, Garrett. It was not it was not acting. That was legit.
30th anniversary Ghost Keeper.
This was the 30th anniversary of Ghost Keeper.
Oh, so sick, dude. Hopefully people are watching this and you know, they want to find out some new obscure horror movies, and we got them right here, baby. Ghost Keeper and Julie Darling.
What?
You guys don't know about Julie Darling?
Look at Julie Darling.
Look at the back. You know what the back says? The back says extremely memorable, underrated gem. See that?
Yeah,
told you exactly what it is.
It's not that memorable. It might be underrated, but I surely do not remember.
Julia Darling is still going for decent money on. I'm looking it up. $14.99 on eBay. That's not bad.
Wow,
oh, God.
How about Rivals? You guys on
Rivals?
I don't remember much about Rivals.
I don't remember Rivals either. I think they were
who's in it?
A lot of stuff around this time period.
The kid who played Bad Ronald is in this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Boom.
That's one that's been out of print for a long time.
Why has nobody released Bad Ronald? That would be such a great Vinegar Syndrome, like nice, cool edition or something. People love that movie.
I'm trying to remember, man. Who put that out on DVD? Because you had it.
Archive.
Warner Archive, yep. And that was like, those are hard as hell to find, or they were at the time.
They don't do that anymore, do they? Or do they?
They still do DVD, Blu-rays of Warner Archives. Yeah, there's still some out there. It would be cool though if they did something where like the slip box opened, it was like behind a wall was like Bad Ronald or whatever. That'd be kind of a cool idea. People love that movie. Another one, Crawl Space, which is a very similar concept.
I've
Bad
got
Ronald
one too.
That's another one that was like that thing's been rare since the DVD days. That one.
How many movies?
I don't know why no one's ever tried to get it.
No. There's at
it's
least
not
two.
It's not the other one with what's his name in it.
Klaus Kinski. It's not that.
Yeah, it's not that.
This Crawl Space is another 70s TV movie.
Oh, I remember that. We watched that back in the day. I'm pretty sure.
Wild Eye Releasing is the one that did the DVD.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if you guys know much about this one. God's Bloody Acre.
Yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time.
Of course.
God's Bloody Acre. Yeah.
Plus Tomcats.
Yeah, that's a bonus movie. Tomcats. It's the bonus disc. Yeah.
That must be terrible then if they were just including that as a bonus.
That's better than Dawn of the Dead right there.
All right, we got it on this stack. Let's see if we can find some other gems over here. Ooh, Post-Apocalyptic Collection. I don't know how many were a part of this. The People Own the Dark.
The People Who Own the Dark.
Own the Dark. Yep.
Wow.
Dude, I've never seen that cover before ever in my life.
I haven't either, but I remember the Post-Apocalyptic Collection. I do remember that.
There's just one.
That's it. Yeah.
It's part of the Post-Apocalyptic Collection. Though. If they ever do any more, you can just add to it.
I'll see if I have any more in here. But this is another one that I haven't opened, but I have seen this movie, and it was a site exclusive. And I do think someone else has put this out. Death Row Game Show.
Yeah, that was Vinegar Syndrome. I've got that on Blu-ray from them. Which is
like
weird because that's just an odd movie for them to put out anyway.
Yeah. I think it was an odd movie.
Comedy, black comedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This was a good movie. I think Vinegar Syndrome did it. The Redeemer. Somebody put this out, I think. But this was a cool one.
Yeah, that was out not too long ago.
I think Code Red may have done a Blu-ray of that. I don't think any other company has done that yet.
The Redeemer. Says if you are having a craving for terror, come to the class reunion. Oh. I think I bought this one at Best Buy. The Strangeness.
It's
that's an interesting cover.
Look at that, huh?
It's Christmassy.
Nobody's touched the strangeness yet.
Strangeness.
80s horror.
Huh. I wonder if it's known
Wait
as
a
anything
minute.
else.
Somebody-
I'm trying to see if the back has any other titles or anything like that. Pretty cool, huh?
The
What year did that come out,
strangeness.
Garrett? Somebody recently either put that out or is going to put that out.
Oh. 1980.
Okay. Yeah. That one's coming back around, I believe.
The strangeness of.
It's strange.
How about The Dead or Alive?
I remember that cover.
I do remember the cover, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's in that?
Alex Cord, Airwolf. Yeah, I don't know who he is. Samantha Egger from The Brood, Curtains.
Yep.
But it says in the back, people get knocked off in rather gruesome style.
That's such a generic thing to say. Yeah, people get killed. It's gruesome.
Gruesome, death, bloody, gory. Like
People
Vincent
get
Mann.
stabbed.
Here's another
so much gore. It's great.
site exclusive, and it says the violent theatrical cut. The Police Connection.
The violent
Of
theatrical
course. Yeah, the violent theatrical cut. Yep.
It's got our boy in it though, Chuck Connors, man. Of course I had to buy this. Chuck Connors.
Oh man.
Gotta have Chuck Connors.
Most of the
That
stuff
guy-
that you're showing, I've never heard of at all.
This is
so-
amazing. This is amazing because it just tells me like how much stuff that we still haven't seen that Vinegar Syndrome's going to release. soon.
How deep my
Right.
collection goes of shit
Yeah.
that I haven't opened or whatever. Yeah.
Severin and Vinegar Syndrome. This is the stuff they're coming out with.
They're
for the
probably
next
they're
4
going to watch
years.
this and be like taking notes. Like, okay,
That's
we've
gonna
got
be
a
on the
whole lot.
thumbnail. It's gonna
Come on,
say
baby.
Vinegar Syndrome and Severin. You need to watch this episode.
Slitheth, baby. Slitheth on 4K.
Oh man, Terminal
That's
Island.
their
They
whole
did this
next
one.
year. Yep.
Somebody did. I think somebody
That's
did.
Vinegar
release that.
Syndrome, man. They
Yeah,
released as a
okay.
VSA.
On the back it says breasts, blood, bullets, and bravado.
That's all you
That is
need.
All
that
the
doesn't win
bees.
you over. But Tom Selleck is in it. What the heck?
Buddy Tom.
Wild.
He
I
must
bet
be
he's proud of that one.
The Journey to the Center of the Earth. Fabulous Journey to the Center.
Well, that one's like, is that the original? That
No,
can't be
that's
the
this is
original.
the fabulous journey.
The fabulous.
Fabulous Journey. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be
It's
confused.
better. It's better than the other one. This one's more fabulous. It's
This is
funny
more
to look at
flamboyant.
the
this is
King
fun.
Kong ape on the back looks amazing.
Uh-huh.
I know I've watched this, but I don't really recall it much.
Listen, that's the best title I think
Yeah,
I've ever.
fabulous.
It says a spectacular adaptation of Jules Verne's classic.
Yep.
It's fabulous.
You'll
All right,
explode.
this is a site exclusive. It's not open yet, which means I've definitely never watched it, and it's Stigma. But it looks
Philip-
pretty good on the back as far as like
Mhm.
it looks very 80s.
Philip Michael Thomas is in it. He's sort of a big deal.
Actually, it's not even 80s. It's a 70s movie. Star of Michael Miami Vice.
Hell yep. Garrett, I
Philip
gotta
Michael
give you
Thomas.
I gotta give you credit. You have been like obsessively collecting shit for a long time. Like,
See?
this is amazing.
I don't want people to be like, he just started. He doesn't know shit. He just found out about Vinegar Syndrome. Dude,
Yeah, when it comes to this Code Red stuff, yeah, I had no idea that you were that big into collecting.
I had
Code
no
Red.
idea they had this many titles.
I didn't
Derby.
either.
You want to
Well,
roll
yeah.
a Derby movie?
Kentucky Derby. We know
Sick.
that, but
All right, we're getting towards the end here.
Rollerball.
We got The Statue.
Oh, that's a classic. It's the statue.
what the hell
I'm
kind
willing to
of
bet
movie is
most of this stuff is never getting a re-release.
Somebody did this. It's the uncut European version of The Visitor.
Now that I do remember. Yep.
Oh, yeah. This was a good one. This got Lance Henderson in, I think. Let me see.
That's probably why it's even known to this day.
Yes. And Shelley Winters. This is one of my favorite releases. I don't know if this got another release, but this is a really good movie if you guys haven't seen it. Rituals.
Oh, I've got
Yeah.
that. Now that was released. Scorpion released that on Blu-ray.
Did they?
That's the version that I've got, and
This is
that's
good
an
movie,
amazing
man.
movie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've got a Blu-ray of that too.
So
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
know.
a
I guess
cool
his brother got the right somehow.
The
and just
immortal
released
Hal Holbrook was.
I still
a
remember the
great
trailer
movie.
for this. Yeah, Hal Holbrook. And the trailer for this was it showed clips of the movie and it had that song, The Bear Goes Over the Mountain or whatever, as like the theme song for this movie. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
pretty yeah.
The weird thing about it is like it's like a weird combination of like, I don't know, Deliverance and a war movie or something, but
100%.
like
That's probably the best way you could put it. Yeah.
and these doctors, they're all up on this vacation. They get like it's picked off by this guy, and when you find out who it is, like it really takes it to another level.
Takes it to the limit.
It does take it to the limit.
Take it
This
Take
is
it
all the way.
all the way.
this one's not open because it's not G rated, so I just have it though. Pets.
That don't look like something you would own for some reason.
You'd be hiding
Yeah,
that from your wife.
This is one of those ones I was gonna send you along with like the White Slave one or whatever it was called. This is the sequel.
Yeah, the White Slave Collection. That was your favorite. Hold on, I got that over here somewhere.
You don't have Pets? Pets, I think, has a Blu-ray.
I think I've got a DVR of that or something somewhere.
He burned it. I
Ow.
gotta check this thing out.
Pets.
Back in the day, like people would send us DVRs of stuff, and I think that's one of them.
This is 70s, 1974. Pets. I still remember the trailer though for it. Pets. It was like these. Yeah, it was women in cages or whatever. Yeah. This is another one I haven't opened yet. Roman Polanski, A Day at the Beach. Look at this. Oh, look at this.
Man, that does
cover.
not.
That looks like something that Eric Stanzi put out back about 2003.
He like printed it off like his printer. It's like,
That was
yeah,
one of the very first independent DVDRs that we got sent to review.
It looks
says-
exactly like what we used to get sent through.
The lost Roman Polanski masterpiece. Day at the
I'm
Beach.
assuming it needed to stay lost.
Yeah, nobody need to find that one. I bet.
All right, here's. I forgot I had some of these. This is one that's like when I saw this come out, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna love this movie. It sucks, but it's one I'm surprised no one's done again, and it's Night of the Dribbler.
I have that one.
Yeah, that
Like
one
a-
is
Like the
sadly,
basketball face.
sadly, I do know that movie. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
I do have that one somewhere in storage.
Night of the Dribbler.
I don't remember it at all, but I've got it.
Weekend Murders.
I don't remember that one at all.
So,
First time on U.S. home video. See, Olsen was killing it, dude.
He must have been.
he was busy. He's a busy guy.
Choke Canyon.
Yep. Choke Canyon was one of my favorites growing up.
Choke Canyon.
Mhm.
This was a good one though.
You probably would have liked that back in
Released.
the day. If you Choke
Trap.
Canyon.
Trapped.
Hmm.
Somebody has done that, I think. Is that
Early
who started
Code Red.
it?
It says a suspenseful thriller with the tradition of deliverance. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. What the fuck? Wow. It says Henry Silva is in it, Barbara
Mhm.
Gordon, Nicholas Campbell. But what's funny is he must have written this because this is an old movie himself, because it says a suspenseful thriller in the tradition of deliverance meets wrong turn. like wrong like wrong turn, like the one with Dushku in it. That's what he's
Yep.
comparing this.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
People love wrong turn.
If you like wrong turn and deliverance, you gotta get trapped. Wrong turn, he just throws it in.
Bill
Oh, dude.
Olsen.
Very odd man.
He was one of a kind. Thank God.
He has moves, but does he have hot moves?
I
I
remember,
remember that
one.
movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, here's another Best Buy exclusive. This is Beyond the Door with slipcover.
Ooh.
I
Best
don't
Buy
have that with the
exclusive
slip cover, but I do. I've got that. Yep.
Ooh.
I didn't
Is
know
that
it
the
had
only
damn
one they
slip
did with
cover.
the slip cover?
2-disc Best Buy exclusive. Beyond the Door.
I
How
think
many
I have
Beyond
that
the Door
too.
movies did they make, by the way? They've had to make at least 2 or 3.
I think there's 3.
I think there's 3, yeah. This is actually not bad. I mean, Beyond the Door, this was a Best Buy exclusive, too.
Was there any other Code Reds with a slip cover?
I think there's one more. There might be one more, but I don't know for sure. I think this might be it, actually. Let me just see if there's any on there. If there's one, nope. The only one I thought was, well, I'll tell you in a second. But this is a great movie, Running Hot with Eric Stoltz. If you guys haven't seen this, it's
Oh my god,
very cool.
Running Hot. I like that cover.
It's very cool. Here's one of your favorite. What?
There should be more like 80s sex comedies coming out. Like there's a bunch of those that never came. Never.
I hope so.
DVD.
I love them. I just got that movie
Yeah.
Homework. Did you get that one?
No, I don't know what that is.
Unearthed. It's an 80s sex teen comedy.
I
Unearthed
know.
Classics just put it out in their line.
Oh,
But it's one
what
of
an
those
odd
movies.
movie for Unearthed to release. Yeah.
What, Homework? Oh, baby. One of the
You know-
classics.
You know who's in that, Garrett?
Sweet 16. No, not offhand.
Little known fact, and he's actually just in it. It's one of the few movies he's actually in as an actor. Is Don Shanks, the guy who played Michael Myers in Part 5?
and it would go.
Has anybody done this again? I think There's a
Code Red put
Blu-ray
it out
of
on
it.
Blu-ray.
Yeah,
They
there's
did.
a Blu-ray of it. Nobody's done a re-release of it though. Like you would think Keno, that would be one they would want to do.
Yeah, no. Let me see. Wasn't there somebody? No, I guess not. I thought the chick from Last House was in this, but I guess she's not. No, I guess not. This was a pretty big deal. This is a 2-disc, The Unseen.
Yep, I love that movie still to this day. And
Now,
I
does this have
think
another release or no?
yeah, Scorpion put it out, and I've got that version too.
I just have
Maybe-
it on DVD. I don't.
Maybe that's why they were fighting. Give me my Unseen back.
Yep.
Oh, here's
That's a-
another Best Buy exclusive. Dead Pit.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Horrible
Two
movie.
disc,
That,
Great name.
Dude,
Horrible
yes.
movie.
yeah.
Best Buy exclusive. No slip though.
Cheryl Lawson's the MVP of that movie.
We did a commentary on that and tried to watch it again. It still sucks. Really bad.
I never could get into that movie, and people don't ever believe us that the name has nothing to do with the Dead Pit movie.
Oh, this is Uncle Bill's favorite. He wants to look at those special features for Boarding House.
Boarding House, brother.
Which has a Blu-ray, right?
What a piece of shit movie that is. Now, seriously.
Wasn't there like a 4-hour cut of Boarding House that some other company did at one time?
I
or
think
something?
so. Yeah, I think that was a real thing. That does have a Blu-ray. Who put that out?
Mhm.
Was that Vinegar Syndrome or one of their partner labels? I think it was one of their partner labels put that out.
I think it was one of them, or maybe it was Vintage. Somebody did. I remember the slip cover was like a really weird looking, colorful mess. It almost looked like a painting or
Yeah.
something like that.
And I watched it again just to make sure that I wasn't like hallucinating the first time I watched it. But that's one of the worst movies that people continuously like talk about still to this day.
100%. It's very, very bad. This one's not bad. I actually had fun with this one. Doom Asylum.
Yeah, and that right there, that version was the first time I ever saw that movie. And that's a crazy movie, man. It breaks
think
the fourth
that's-
wall too.
That's one of their earlier ones, I believe. Right.
I can look it up.
Yeah, number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, uncut. It's got Patty Mullen in it, so that was a big win
Yeah.
for me. I think this is a great movie.
Has anybody re-released that one at all? I don't.
I
think
feel
so.
like they have,
do
but
too.
it might have been maybe like Scorpion or Code Red or something. I don't know if any big company's done it, but I think this is the only version I have. And this is another good movie. I think this must have another release, but Devil Times 5. This is an early one too.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Killer Kid.
There is a Blu-ray of Doom Asylum, and it was done by Arrow.
Oh yeah, it's got like a really gnarly cover, right? Like
Yep.
yeah, okay. I don't know if I have it. I might. But yeah, it's a
I
fun
don't
one.
have that one.
This is a pretty fun movie too. I don't know if it has another edition though. Soul Survivor.
Listen, straight up, I love that movie, first of all, but that's straight up where Reddit got the idea to do Final Destination. I don't give a shit what that guy says.
It's right at the top. Before Final Destination, there was Soul Survivor.
That movie is almost exactly like Final Destination. It just there's no way. And I know Jeffrey Reddick was a huge horror fan. He was from the same area we are. He went to like rental stores around here. I know he saw that damn movie, and that's how he got the idea for that. I just know it.
You saw it, damn it.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that. People borrow from everything.
That's true, but I mean it's pretty on the nose.
You stole it.
like
Yes,
Jeffrey
that's
Reddick,
my current. I've sold some, but that's my current DVD collection. I do have some Blu-rays though I can throw out really quick. So these are ones that I've upgraded to blue from Code Red.
From Code Red? Oh hell.
From Code Red. Look at this. The
We just get
Forest with
started,
Slip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Slipsky.
I thought that was a beautiful addition right there.
It is. I mean, I'm looking at the art on the back, like just the stills. I'm like, wow, the quality of these stills is even just amazing looking. Blue Monkey.
Ooh,
Blue Monkey, baby.
Blue
Funky.
Monkey.
Neon Maniacs. That was a big release for them.
That's a good one. What a weird movie.
See,
It is
this is
odd
what's
movie.
weird because, dude, this just came out and it's Code Red.
Mhm.
Don't tell her it's me. This just came out. I haven't even had a chance to watch it yet. This only came out
Dude, you would love
a
that
year
movie.
ago.
I
I've
know
seen it.
you.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it. It's friggin'
Oh, yeah?
awesome. It's
Okay.
with Gutenberg. Yeah, there's another
That-
name called Boyfriend School or something. I think, right?
I got
But-
that one for review, so that may be the last Code Red title that was released. What year is that? Does it have like a year of release on it?
2022.
That may be the last one that they.
It's number 199.
Damn.
But yeah, that's what's crazy. Jamie Gertz, Gutenberg. I mean, I love that movie. I just haven't opened it yet, but I mean, I've seen that. I saw that a lot, like when I was a kid. This is another. I don't know what year this came out. 2022. Chomps. What do you mean? You're not a big Chomps fan? You be looking.
I've
It's
seen the clip
like-
of that movie.
look at that. It's got puffins on
Oh,
it. Look,
yeah.
you'd like this.
Chomps, bulls.
That's
Chomps.
Come on.
It's abbreviated though. What does Chomp stand for?
It stands for cannibalistic humanoid
Canine Home
Overdrive.
Protection. Canine Home Protection System.
That's killer.
It says this. It says he's a super canine computer, the world's greatest fighting crime biter. So
Chomp.
Chomps is great,
Chomps.
dude.
That was a big thing in the 80s. Robots and abbreviations.
Cool one. Wings Hauser Mutant.
God, I bet that's a classic.
Oh, that's amazing.
Look at that.
Wings Hauser, he never disappointed.
Look at that classic. Here's the big money. Trick or Treats.
Got that one, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
have that one too.
Cutthroats 9.
No idea.
I don't have
Oh, that's a
the
good one.
first aid either.
You got to have Just Before Dawn.
I've got
That's
that
a
one.
great one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. High
Oh,
recommendation
so
there.
good. So good. I don't know if I've ever watched this. The Boneyard.
I remember that VHS tape back in the day. I don't ever remember watching the movie.
I don't know if I've ever
Is that
seen
the
it.
one with no? That's the. Is that the one with the poodle?
Yes.
Or is that the bean?
That's the one with the
Okay.
poodle.
Bro, this looks killer on the back, actually. I gotta watch this. Boneyard.
It's the boneyard. Let's keep it bony.
I like this one. Cut and Run.
That is. Listen, that's a great addition too because that's the
100%.
unrated version. I love
That's an
that.
Aussie movie, right?
No, it's
yeah, Buddy
Deodato.
In Charge. Yeah, you get Deodato's movie. You got what's his name there? Hills Have Eyes guy.
It's
Michael
Michael
Berryman.
Berryman. Buddy from Charles in Charge. What's his name? Buddy Willie Ames. That's what it is.
Yep.
Race to Glory. It's not that good. I actually was kind of disappointed with it.
Who the hell's in that?
That's a motorbike sort of.
Yeah, it's basically kind of like, it was one of those, they try to make like a motorcycle Top Gun type movie. Let me see. Alex MacArthur, Pamela Ludwig, Ray Wise. It was okay. I thought it was going to be better. I don't know if I've ever watched this. Being Different.
I remember that because isn't that like a movie, like almost like a documentary about people that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't call them freaks until you see Being Different. They're more like us than you think. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It is kind of like that.
It's a documentary.
It's like, I don't know if it's a documentary, but it's the true story of the modern day Elephant Man. But I mean, you can see the back. It's all these different. It almost looks like, you know, that movie Freaks, how the way that's done. Almost seems like that on the back.
What was that movie, by the way? That just reminded me, because I always loved this movie, and it was on HBO like 5,000 times with Alex Winter. Was it called Freaked?
Freaked, yeah, Freaked.
Freaked, yeah. That was a great movie.
Good movie, yeah. That needs a release. They had a Blu-ray of that from Anchor Bay that came and went very quickly. So that's a title that's worth quite a bit of money. So I'm surprised no one's put that out again. I just talked about this. Oh, I think you guys do it. Twisted Nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one's coming up
next week.
So yeah, so that's I got a couple more left, but yeah, Twisted Nightmare is the ones you guys are doing. Do you have that release? Or are you watching on streaming or what?
It's on YouTube, but I actually do have the Blu-ray of that. And that was shot. Wasn't that shot in the same location as like one of the Friday the 13th movies or something like that?
Yeah, maybe Camp Paradise. So it could very well have been.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't say on the back, but yeah, I think one of the Friday the 13th films it's the same location.
This is a cool movie if you guys haven't seen it. Amanda Weiss. Shakma.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Some company recently did that too.
Vinegar Syndrome again.
Yeah.
That's a freaky movie, man. That's freaky. This one I don't really remember. Deadly Dreams.
Look at that damn thing.
I remember the artwork. I may have seen it back in the day because I remember it being in video stores, but I don't remember it.
What the hell is that on the cover?
It looks pretty killer on the back.
It's a deadly demon.
Look at that.
Deadly Dreams. Oh, love it.
That's I
almost feel that
edition you can get still.
That's the best, I believe. I mean, I think that they need to give it a deluxe treatment. Like I would love to see.
Well, I bought one that was like, it was code red, I think, still. But
is it the like purple cover with like a yellow logo? I do remember.
It had like a slip cover.
Okay.
And the slip cover was all like fluorescent, like bright tie-dye kind of colors and crap. Like, I don't know. Like there's several different like versions.
I think that was like a foreign release of some sort. I think one of those companies did it.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I think it was it might have been Scorpion or something, maybe, because I remember Savage Streets was one of those movies that you could not get it for like ever. And then all of a sudden it came out, and then it just kept coming out in all these different editions. So I must have like 6 versions of Savage Streets. I think Grindhouse, maybe. No, it wasn't them. BCI did it, I think. No, maybe it wasn't. Somebody came out with a line with like Stanley, Final Exam, Savage Streets.
It was code red. Yeah, so the version I've got, and I'm looking at it right now, it's got like a slip cover, and it's like blue and pink, mostly like completely over it, with like strong fluorescent looking color. It's got Linda Blair with like the crossbow like here and the main cast in front of her.
I wonder if that may have been like a limited version or something.
I don't know. I don't know where even I got that damn thing at, but like I wanted a Blu-ray of Savage Streets, and that's actually a pretty good one. Like I'm sure it's the same transfer.
Yeah, it's a good addition. I'm trying to see if there's any cool features in the back. No, nothing. I mean, that's the thing. Like this one doesn't have any features, so I mean, there's got to be stuff out there.
Well, the one that Felcher did, the what was it, BCI or whatever? There was a ton of special features on that, I believe.
Is there? I have that one right up over there. Huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a 2-disc edition.
That's the 2-disc red one that has just like Linda Blair on the front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's got like that like thick cardstock slip or whatever on it.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cool movie. Sergio Martino, Hands of Steel.
Hands of Steel, baby. Ronnie got no, that's Hands of Stone. Sorry.
This is actually kind of fun. I don't even know if I've ever watched this. Hills Have Eyes 3, Mind Ripper.
They released it as Hills Have Eyes 3.
No joke. No joke.
Sons of bitches.
Rambo actually did a review of that movie. It was just Mind Ripper, but he did like a review of it.
Yeah.
This is a video on itself. Did you know there was a Hills Have Eyes 3?
It released Wes Craven's Mind Ripper like on video or something like that.
Yep, it was.
And I have one more.
We got.
I can go Shriek.
Listen,
That's one that's actually kind of pricey, I think, still.
88 Films released it though. I've got their
Oh,
version.
did they?
And that movie is awful until you get to the end. And the end is another one of them movies, very similar, by the way, to Fatal Games, where you're just like, okay, it's an interesting ending. Yep.
Karate's Bad Boys in that too, though. That was before Karate Kid 3.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Mike Barnes. But guys, that was my Code Red collection. Got a lot of stuff here, a lot of great titles that you guys can check out if you've never seen them before, a lot of obscure stuff. And man, it was so cool to go back in time and talk about this underground horror label back in the mid 2000s. This was really kind of popping, and it, like I said, this lasted way longer than any of us expected. And a lot of these titles, especially the Blu-rays, you can probably still find on Kino's site, and they go on sale, but they kind of sometimes don't go on sale too, like in the sense that I've gone on there during their big sales and they're still, not priced down to like $7.99 like a lot of these other movies are. But yeah, there's a lot of gems in here and a lot of things I haven't checked out yet, and a lot of things I don't remember, which I may want to go back and check out. But definitely fun talking about this with you guys.
Yeah, it just reminded me that, like, I'm pretty sure Vinegar Syndrome's got 50% of their titles just from Code Red's like back collection.
They got it on closeout prices, yeah.
Yeah.
For the next 5 years, they'll be coming out with Slitheth and all these amazing Code Red titles. And what I would advise you to do, Garrett, anything that you're thinking about rewatching, look up a trailer first. That usually saves you some time. That's what I do.
That's the way to do it. I'm out.
Yeah.
And if anybody's saw any of these titles in there that you're interested in, that you've like, I've always wanted that, hit me up. Because I mean, some of this I'll part with, some of these ones here that I haven't opened yet and whatnot. If anybody's interested in Alice Goodbody, I'm willing to part with that. But just let me know. But this was definitely a video I wanted to talk about because, again, a lot of people are liking this retro, days of DVD collecting. And I think when it came to the horror genre, this Code Red was a company that kind of came out of nowhere and really changed the game. And I think, like we said, a lot of the boutique labels that we love now are taking a page out of Bill Olsen's book when it came to, finding these obscure movies. Obviously, they're giving them better treatments with all these cool features, but still, like, I think he really got the ball rolling on like some of this more underground, lesser known horror films.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're definitely on the cusp, baby, of DVD collecting is going to be coming back. Maybe it's already back. I know some of these titles are pretty collectible, but it all comes around full circle. Records, cassette tapes, VHS tapes. Why not DVDs?
But yeah, I hope DVD comes back around because I got like 15 tubs of stuff. I'll sell whoever wants it.
I'm kind of being a little selfish too. I'm like, it's not much I really need. So it's funny because I have a lot of nostalgia for this stuff. And, especially a lot of those Anchor Bay titles, like I'm going back and like getting some of the ones that I just missed out on throughout the years. Like I just grabbed, I don't have it over here, but I've been snagging some stuff, especially from Anchor Bay that I've just, like, I'm looking for like that Circuit City Phantasm. You remember that whole thing? Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
That was like an exclusive and stuff. Like I'm looking for all those obscure ones that I just don't have in the collection. But
the deal with the Circuit City Phantasm though is like not all of them were signed, right? They were only like random ones that
But I want to find one that's got the reason is if it's signed, cool, but like I want to find the one that, because the slipcover has the big Circuit City sticker on it and it says Circuit City exclusive, like a sticker on the slip. So if I can at least just find one of those with that Circuit City sticker on it, I'd be happy. But they're hard to come by because, again, they were very limited to just one store and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'm hoping to get that in the collection. And it was so cool to go back in time here and talk about this stuff. I know that people like to hear about these stories, and you guys have a ton of stories, revolving around Code Red. And now that interview with Bill Olsen, is that something that people can get a hold of, or is that only Patreon?
I think that we made it, when he passed away, we made it public on the Dead Pit on Patreon page. So if you go to deadpitonpatreon.com and just do a little search ski for it, it'll pop up and you can listen to it.
So then you'll hear all the stories they talked about today, and plus more they probably forgot about in that interview, which I'm dying to go back and checking that out because I remember it being almost kind of a classic interview because number one, I was a huge mark for Code Red when they first started releasing stuff. And for you guys to get that interview and hear him, the man behind the label was very, very interesting. So definitely go check that out. And guys, you have anything else coming up on your channel this coming week?
Nothing offhand. We got a ton of reviews we're going to be doing, and throughout the whole summer, we are doing the Cruel Summer Slashback, where we're taking a look at slasher movies from the 80s mainly that we have never reviewed before. So that's kind of our big thing this summer.
So like Twisted Nightmare. So some of these that you might have seen tonight might end up on this list of yours.
For sure.
I just watched this one and I'm getting ready to review it.
Oh, dude.
And
I love that movie.
This is going to be an amazing review. Man, I have a really weird relationship with this movie because I saw it way before, this and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's a hard watch for me because it's essentially like a retelling of Jonestown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a great movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, and especially the guy that plays father,
Jim Jones character.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But
Tim
dude,
Ross.
I mean, it's
that cover looks just like JR. I can't even look at it.
I don't really think that's a good cover.
Damn it, folks.
I was actually very disappointed with that artwork.
Yeah, it's not great.
But I love the movie. I think I remember being so infatuated with that movie that I actually started to go back and I started buying all the Jim Jones documentaries and stuff. Like I have DVDs of them because that movie got me more intrigued by that story.
Well, the crazy thing about it is that it stays pretty much to the story of Jonestown, like all the way through it with maybe like a couple little, variations. But the crazy part to me is at the end of it, they didn't have enough actors to really show the scope of what happened in Jonestown because Jonestown, when it actually, it was just hundreds of bodies. You know what I mean? Like just from the helicopter, it looked like the ground itself was just white because all these people were wearing white and they'd all just died laying. So, I mean, I think the story of Jonestown is more terrifying than this movie, but it's a great kind of whatever you want to say, rephrasing
an adaptation of it. Sure.
Yeah.
100%. I'm actually interested to hear more of your thoughts on that review, so I'll check it out because I didn't get that set. But I do have the Blu-ray and I absolutely love it because that was just a Blu-ray, right? It's not a 4K.
Yeah, this is just a Blu-ray.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of that one, and I'm interested to see what you have to say about it. But guys, thank you so much for checking this out. This is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and like always, stay rad
and stay
dead.